Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Liberty. Through the big window, he could see the massive alien ship moving closer to Earth. The ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. It looked like a giant metal beast, with sharp edges and glowing red lights. The alien ship belonged to the Zeridian Empire. They were lizard-like creatures who had conquered many worlds across the galaxy. Behind them stood the Galactic Council, a group of powerful alien races who made the rules for most of the galaxy. Jake had been a space captain for 15 years. He had fought in many battles, but always small ones. The aliens thought humans were weak. They believed Earth was just another small planet with simple technology. Jake knew better, but he could never tell anyone the truth. On Earth, Admiral Lisa Carter sat in her office at the Space Defense Center. She was looking at her computer screen, waiting for the message she knew would come. The Zeridians had been threatening Earth for months. They wanted humans to join their empire or face destruction. The message finally came through. The alien face on the screen was scary to look at. It had yellow eyes, sharp teeth, and green scales. This was Warlord Vextar, the leader of the Zeridian fleet. People of Earth, the alien said in a cold voice, you have ignored our warnings for too long. The Galactic Council has decided your fate. You have 3 days to surrender all your weapons and ships. You will become part of our empire. If you refuse, we will destroy your planet. Lisa turned off the message and picked up her phone. She called President William Hayes right away. The president was having dinner with his family, but this could not wait. Sir, they have given us the ultimatum, Lisa said. 3 days to surrender, or they attack. The president was quiet for a moment. Call the emergency meeting. Get everyone to the White House in 1 hour. Dr. Nathan Brooks was at home reading a book when his phone rang. He was Earth's best expert on alien life forms. For years, he had been telling the government that their peaceful approach was wrong. The aliens saw kindness as weakness. Nathan, we need you at the White House, Lisa said. The Zeridians have made their move. Nathan put down his book and grabbed his coat. He had been expecting this day for a long time. He just hoped the government would finally listen to him. Commander Amy Rodriguez was in her secret office deep underground when she got the call. She was the head of Earth's Special Operations Division. Most people did not even know her unit existed. They worked in the shadows, doing things that regular soldiers could not do. Amy looked at the files on her desk. They were marked top secret and eyes only. These files contained information that would shock the world. For 50 years, Earth had been lying to the galaxy about their real military power. The government had made a choice long ago. Instead of showing their true strength, they would pretend to be weak. They would let the aliens think humans were just simple creatures with basic technology. This way, the aliens would not see them as a threat. Amy had trained for this day her whole life. She knew that when the time came, Earth would have to reveal the truth. The masquerade would have to end. At the White House, the president sat at a big table with his top advisors. General Patricia Lewis was there with her military files. Dr. Brooks sat next to her, looking worried. Admiral Carter joined them by video call from her base. Tell me our options, the president said. General Lewis opened her files. Sir, the public thinks we have normal spaceships and simple weapons. They think our technology is far behind aliens, but that is not true. She showed them pictures of secret bases hidden throughout the solar system. There were facilities on the moon, on Mars, and on asteroids that no one knew about. These bases contained weapons and technology that were far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. For 50 years, we have been building in secret, General Lewis continued. Every time we fought the aliens, we held back. We let them win small battles so they would think we were weak. but we were really studying them, learning their weaknesses. Dr. Brooks leaned forward. I tried to warn everyone. The aliens respect only strength. They see our peaceful nature as proof that we cannot fight. They have no idea what we are, really, capable of. The president looked at the pictures of the secret weapons. How long can we keep this hidden? We cannot hide it anymore, sir, Admiral Carter said from the screen. If we want to survive, we have to show them the truth. We have to let them see what Earth can really do. Amy Rodriguez entered the room at that moment. She carried a black briefcase with her. Inside were the codes and plans for Project Prometheus. This was not a single weapon or ship. It was a complete plan for revealing Earth's true military power to the galaxy. Sir, Amy said, we have been preparing for this day since the project began. Our ships look simple on the outside, but inside they have technology that can defeat entire fleets. Our weapons can do things the aliens think are impossible. The president looked around the table at his advisors. What are the risks? If we reveal our true power, the entire galaxy will know we have been lying, General Lewis said. Some aliens will be angry. Some will be afraid, but they will all respect us. And if we do not reveal it? The president asked. Then Earth will be destroyed in 3 days, Amy said simply. The president stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the alien ship in the sky. It looked like a small star, but he knew it carried enough weapons to destroy cities. How? Many people know the truth about our real military? He asked. Less than 1,000, Amy replied. Most of our own soldiers think they are using normal weapons. Only the highest levels know about the advanced technology. And our enemies have no idea? None at all, sir. They think we are centuries behind them in technology. They have no idea that we are actually centuries ahead. The president turned back to his advisors. If we do this, there is no going back. The galaxy will never see us the same way again. Sir, Dr. Brooks said, they were never going to let us live in peace anyway. They see us as a threat to their power, even though they think we are weak. If we show them we are strong, at least, we will survive. The president nodded slowly. Admiral Carter, how long do we need to prepare? 12 hours to get all our ships ready, sir. Our captains have been training for this moment their whole careers. They know what to do. Then we do it, the president sighed. Send the message to all our secret bases. Tell them to prepare for full disclosure. In 3 days, when the aliens attack, they will learn the truth about Earth. Amy Rodriguez smiled for the first time in months. Yes, sir. It is time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. The meeting ended, and everyone left to prepare for the most important battle in human history. The galaxy thought they knew Earth's capabilities. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 3 days later, the real war would begin. 2 days had passed since the alien ultimatum. All across Earth's hidden bases, soldiers were getting ready for something they had trained for their whole lives, but never expected to actually do. They were about to reveal the truth that had been hidden for 50 years. Commander Amy Rodriguez stood in the deep, underground control room that most people did not know existed. The room was filled with computers and screens showing secret bases all over the solar system. For decades, these bases had been pretending to be simple research stations or mining facilities. In reality, they were the most advanced military installations in the galaxy. Amy picked up her radio and spoke to bases across the solar system. This is Control. Project Prometheus is now active. Repeat, Project Prometheus is active. Begin Phase 1 preparations. On the moon, Lieutenant Colonel Danny Wright was in charge of Luna Base. To anyone watching from Earth, it looked like a normal moon base where scientists studied rocks and grew plants. Danny walked through corridors that the public had never seen. Behind hidden doors were weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Danny's team began turning on systems that had been waiting in silence for decades. These were not the simple weapons that humans were supposed to have. These were devices that could bend space and time, weapons that used the power of black holes, and shields that could make entire ships invisible. All systems showing green. Danny reported to Amy. Luna Base is ready for full disclosure. Similar reports came in from bases on Mars, on asteroids, and from ships hiding in the outer solar system. Earth's real military was waking up after 50 years of pretending to sleep. Captain Jake Morrison was still on his ship, the Liberty. The alien fleet was getting closer to Earth every hour. They were not hiding their approach. They wanted everyone to see their power and be afraid. What the aliens did not know was that the Liberty was not the simple ship it appeared to be. Like all Earth ships, it had been built with two sets of technology. The outer systems were basic, the kind of technology that aliens expected humans to have. The inner systems were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Jake walked through the ship, checking on his crew. They all knew what was coming. They had all been chosen for this mission because they could keep secrets. Most of them had family, members who did not even know what they really did for work. "Captain," his engineer called out, "the quantum drive is ready. The gravitational weapons are charging. All stealth systems are standing by." Jake nodded. "Good. How long since we last tested the full systems?" 6 months, sir." Everything worked perfectly then. Jake looked out at the alien ships. "Well, we are about to find out if they still work perfectly now." Dr. Helen Turner was in her secret laboratory, making final checks on the weapons that would soon shock the galaxy. She had spent 30 years of her life developing technology that could defeat any alien military. Her work was based on careful study of every alien species that Earth had ever encountered. Every time humans had fought aliens in the past, they had lost on purpose, but they had also been studying. They learned how alien weapons worked, how alien ships moved, how alien commanders thought. Helen had used all this information to build weapons that could counter every alien technology. Looked at her computer screen, which showed the alien fleet approaching Earth. "You have no idea what you are walking into," she said quietly. Helen's weapons did not work like anything the aliens understood. Instead of shooting bullets or energy beams, they changed the laws of physics around enemy ships. They could make a ship's own gravity crush it from the inside. They could turn a ship's weapons against itself. They could make an entire fleet forget which direction was up. Admiral Lisa Carter was at the main command center, coordinating with all the secret bases. She had been part of this deception since the beginning. It had been her idea to let the aliens think humans were weak. "All stations report ready," her aide told her. "We can begin full disclosure on your order." Lisa looked at the big screen showing the alien fleet. There were over 3,000 ships out there. Any other planet in the galaxy would surrender immediately when faced with such a force. But Earth was not any other planet. "Not yet," Lisa said. "Let them get closer. Let them think they are winning right up until the moment we show them the truth." The Zeridian warlord Vextar was on his flagship, confident that this would be an easy victory. His scouts had told him that Earth had only a few hundred ships, and they were all simple vessels with basic weapons. He expected the humans to surrender. Without a fight, how much longer until we reach their planet? He asked his navigator. 12 hours, my lord. Their defensive fleet is forming up to meet us, but it is pathetically small. Vextar laughed. Humans are such foolish creatures. They think they can fight the mighty Zeridian Empire with their primitive technology. What Vextar could not see was that human ships were already all around his fleet. They were hidden by technology that made them completely invisible to alien sensors. The humans had been watching every move the alien fleet made since they entered the solar system. Captain. Steve Johnson was piloting one of these invisible ships. His fighter craft, Eagle 1, looked like a normal human fighter to anyone who saw it. But hidden inside were systems that could phase through solid matter, weapons that fired concentrated dark energy, and shields that could deflect planet-killing. Weapons. Steve had been flying missions like this for 10 years. He had flown right through alien fleets without them knowing he was there. He had planted listening devices on enemy ships and stolen their battle plans. The aliens never suspected that humans had this kind of technology. Eagle 1 to base. Steve reported, "I am inside the enemy formation. I count 3,047 ships. I have planted tracking devices on their command vessels." "Copy that, Eagle 1, came the reply. "Return to base and prepare for Phase 2. Steve smiled as he flew his invisible ship back toward Earth. The aliens had no idea they were being watched. They had no idea what was about to happen to them. Back on Earth, Dr. Nathan Brooks was in the Situation Room with the President and his advisors. The public was starting to panic as the alien fleet got closer. People were leaving the cities and hiding in the countryside. "Sir," Nathan said to the President, "the aliens are broadcasting surrender demands to our population. They are trying to cause panic and make our people demand that the government give up." "Will it work?" the President asked. "Not once they see what we can really do," Nathan replied. "The whole galaxy is about to learn that they have been wrong about humans for 50 years. General Patricia Lewis was reviewing the battle plans one final time. Earth's real strategy was unlike anything that had ever been used in galactic warfare. Instead of trying to destroy the enemy fleet, they would capture it intact. They would show such overwhelming superiority that the aliens would have no choice but to surrender. "All units are in position," she reported. "We can begin the demonstration." "Whenever you give the order, sir." The President looked around the room at his advisors. These people had kept the biggest secret in human history for decades. Tomorrow, that secret would be revealed to the entire galaxy. "How long will the battle last?" the President asked. Amy Rodriguez answered, 15 minutes, sir. Maybe less. We are not planning to have a long fight. We are planning to show them that fighting us is impossible. And after that? After that, sir, everything changes. The galaxy will know that Earth is not a weak planet they can push around. They will know that we have been holding back our true power all this time." The President nodded. "Then let's do it. Tomorrow, when they attack, we show them who we really are." As night fell on Earth, the secret preparations continued. Weapons that had been hidden for decades were being prepared for their first real test. Ships that looked simple on the outside were revealing their true capabilities. Soldiers who had pretended to be weak were getting ready to show their real strength. The galaxy thought they knew what humans were capable of. In less than 24 hours, they would learn how wrong they had been. The masquerade was almost over, and the truth was about to shock the universe. The 3 days were up. The Zeridian fleet moved into position around Earth, ready to begin their attack. Warlord Vexstar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the blue planet below. He expected this to be over quickly. "Begin the attack," Vexstar ordered. "Show these humans what happens when they refuse the generous offer of the Zeridian Empire." 3,000 alien ships began moving toward Earth's defensive fleet. The human ships looked tiny compared to the massive alien vessels. To observers across the galaxy who were watching this battle, it seemed like Earth had no chance at all. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Liberty, watching the alien fleet approach. His crew was calm and ready. They had trained for this moment their entire careers. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. "All ships, this is Liberty Actual," Jake spoke into his radio. "You are authorized to reveal full capabilities. Let them see what we have been hiding." Across the human fleet, ships that had looked simple and weak began to change. Hidden panels opened to reveal weapons that glowed with strange energy. The ships themselves seemed to shimmer and fade as their stealth systems activated. What had looked like a small, weak fleet suddenly became something else entirely. The first Zeridian attack wave consisted of 500 ships. They moved in formation, their weapons charging up to destroy the human vessels. They expected to face simple missiles and basic energy weapons. Instead, they encountered something that should have been impossible. Captain Steve Johnson, flying. His fighter Eagle 1 activated systems that made his ship phase in and out of normal space. He flew right through the hull of an alien battleship, appearing inside their engine room. The aliens could not understand how he had gotten there without their sensors detecting him. Steve planted a small device on their main computer and then phased back out through the hull. The device began taking control of the alien ship's systems. Within seconds, the battleship was turning its weapons on its own fleet. This happened to dozens of alien ships at the same time. Human fighters were appearing inside enemy vessels like ghosts, taking control of their systems and turning them against each other. The aliens had never seen anything like it. What is happening? Vigstar demanded as he watched his ships attacking each other. How are the humans doing this? His science officer was staring at his instruments in confusion. My lord, I am not detecting any human ships near our vessels. But somehow they are inside our ships, controlling our systems. Lieutenant Colonel Danny Wright, commanding Luna Base, activated the weapons that had been hidden on the moon for decades. To alien sensors, the moon had always looked like a dead rock with a few small human bases. Now it revealed itself to be the most heavily armed fortress in the solar system. Beams of pure gravitational force reached out from the moon and grabbed alien ships. The beams did not destroy the ships, but instead held them perfectly still in space. The aliens could not move, could not turn, could not escape. They were trapped by forces they did not understand. Luna Base to Fleet Command, Danny reported. We have captured and immobilized 400 enemy vessels. They are completely helpless. Dr. Helen Turner's weapons were being used for the first time in actual combat. From hidden bases throughout the solar system, strange new weapons fired at the alien fleet. These weapons did not shoot bullets or energy beams. Instead, they changed the basic laws of physics around the enemy ships. Some alien vessels found that their own gravity had been reversed, crushing their hulls from the inside. Others discovered that time was moving differently inside their ships, making their weapons fire in slow motion while human ships move at normal speed. Still others found that their navigation systems could no longer tell which way was up. The alien fleet was not being destroyed. It was being systematically disabled by technology that they could not comprehend. Every ship was being captured intact, their crews unharmed but completely helpless. Commander Amy Rodriguez was leading boarding parties that moved through enemy ships like they were not there. Her soldiers used technology that allowed them to walk through solid walls and appear anywhere they wanted inside an enemy vessel. Amy materialized on the bridge of a Zeridian cruiser, right behind the captain. The alien spun around in shock, reaching for his weapon, but Amy was faster. She placed a small device on his neck that put him to sleep instantly. Bridge secure, Amy reported as her team took control of the ship's systems. All crew members are unconscious, but unharmed. We now control this vessel. This scene was repeated on hundreds of alien ships. Human soldiers appeared like ghosts, took control of the ships without firing a shot, and left the alien crews alive, but completely defeated. The battle, if it could even be called a battle, lasted exactly 14 minutes. At the end of those 14 minutes, The entire Zeridian attack fleet was captured. Not a single ship had been destroyed. Not a single alien had been killed. But every enemy vessel was now under human control. Warlord Vextar found himself a prisoner on his own. Flagship. Human soldiers had appeared on his bridge and taken control of his ship's systems. He could not understand how this had happened. "You are using impossible technology," he said to Amy Rodriguez when she appeared before him. "The Galactic Council will never believe this." Amy smiled. "That is exactly what we are counting on. We want the entire galaxy to know what really happened." Here today, Captain Morrison opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy. Every world, every fleet, every government in known space received his message. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Force," he said. "For 50 years, Earth has been part of the galactic community. We have fought in your wars, traded with your merchants, and tried to live in peace. But you have always seen you as weak, as primitive, as less than your equals." The message continued as images of the battle were broadcast across the galaxy. Alien commanders on 1,000 worlds watched in shock as they saw the mighty Zeridian fleet defeated without a single shot being fired in return. "What you have seen here today is the truth about Earth's military capabilities," Morrison continued. "We have never been weak. We have never been primitive. We have been holding back our true power because we believed in peace. We hoped that showing restraint would lead to friendship." Dr. Nathan Brooks had prepared this message for years. He knew that this moment would change everything between Earth and the galaxy. "The Galactic Council ordered us to surrender our weapons," Brooks said in the broadcast. "But they never understood what our weapons really were. They thought we had simple missiles and basic energy guns. They had no idea that we possessed technology that could manipulate space, time, and gravity itself." The revelation sent shockwaves across the galaxy. On the Alterian homeworld, the High Council held an emergency meeting. On the Vegan Trade Federation stations, merchants began calculating how this would change galactic commerce. On the council chambers, representatives from 100 worlds demanded answers. Admiral Lisa Carter appeared in the broadcast next. "Earth has captured the entire Zeridian attack fleet without destroying a single vessel or harming a single crew. Member, this demonstrates both our capability and our restraint. We could have destroyed this fleet in seconds, but we chose to show mercy." The message concluded with words that would be remembered throughout galactic history. The galaxy was warned that Earth was holding back, Admiral Carter said. "You were told that we were not as weak as we appeared. You chose not to listen. Now you have seen the truth. We do not wish to conquer or rule. We only want to be left in peace. But if you force us to defend ourselves, you now know what we are capable of." The broadcast ended, and silence fell across the galaxy. Every government, every military, every citizen had to come to terms with a new reality. Earth, the planet they had dismissed as backward and weak, possessed military technology that surpassed anything they had ever imagined. The Zeridian Empire, one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy, had been defeated in 14 minutes, without Earth's forces even breaking a sweat. If humans could do this to the Zeridians, what could they do to anyone else who threatened them? The galaxy had been warned, but they had not listened. Now they knew the truth, and everything would have to change. On Earth, President Hayes addressed his planet. "My fellow humans, today we revealed our true strength to the galaxy. We did this not because we wanted to, but because we had no choice. The masquerade is over. From now on, the galaxy will know who we really are. The age of hiding was over. The age of truth had begun." The news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours of the battle, every major world knew what had happened. The Zeridian Empire one of the most feared military forces in known space, had been completely defeated by humans in less than 15 minutes. On the planet Alturia, home to the Galactic Council's headquarters, emergency meetings were being held around the clock. Council members from dozens of species sat around the great table, all trying to understand what they had just witnessed. "This changes everything," said Councillor Zephron, a tall blue-skinned alien who had been part of the council for over a century. "If the humans have this kind of technology, why have they been hiding it?" The question hung in the air. For 50 years, humans had participated in galactic affairs as a minor species. They had lost battles, signed unfavorable trade deals, and accepted insults from more powerful races. Now it appeared that they could have dominated the galaxy at any time they chose. Ambassador Claire Mitchell sat at the council table, representing Earth. For years, she had played the role of a desperate diplomat from a weak world. She had begged for better trade terms, pleaded for protection from stronger empires, and accepted whatever scraps the council was willing to give Earth. Now, she sat calmly, while the most powerful beings in the galaxy demanded answers from her. "Ambassador Mitchell," said High Counselor Mordick, a massive creature that looked like a cross between a bear and a lizard, "your species has been deceiving the entire galaxy. We demand an explanation." Claire looked around the table at the aliens, who had treated her with barely concealed contempt for so many years. "We did not deceive anyone," she said calmly. "We simply chose not to show our full capabilities. There is a difference." "You let us believe you were weak," accused Counselor Veltar of the Serpentine Republic. "You made fools of us all." "We made no claims about our military strength," Claire replied. "You assumed we were weak because we chose to be peaceful. That assumption was your mistake, not our deception." The truth was more complex than Claire was letting on, and everyone in the room knew it. Earth's intelligence services had spent decades carefully managing how other species perceived human capabilities. They had deliberately lost battles they could have won, accepted defeats in negotiations they could have dominated, and allowed other species to believe they were technologically inferior. On the Zeridian homeworld, Emperor Krexol was dealing with the greatest military disaster in his empire's history. His most powerful fleet had been captured intact, along with all of its crews and commanders. The humans had not even demanded ransom or territorial concessions. They had simply proven their point and then offered to return the ships and crews unharmed. "How is this possible?" the Emperor demanded of his military advisors. "Our intelligence said the humans had primitive technology. Our spies reported that their weapons were centuries behind ours." General Mordak, the Empire's supreme military commander, looked uncomfortable. "Your Majesty, it appears that human intelligence operations were far more sophisticated than we realized. They allowed us to see only what they wanted us to see." The implications were staggering. If humans could fool Zeridian intelligence for 50 years, what else were they capable of? How many other species had been similarly deceived? Captain Jake Morrison was conducting what he called demonstration tour of the galaxy. The Liberty and a small fleet of human ships were visiting major worlds, showing their true capabilities to local governments and military forces. Their first stop was the Vegan Trade Federation, a collection of merchant worlds that controlled much of the galaxy's commerce. The vegans had always treated humans as second-class trading partners, offering poor prices for human goods and charging high rates for alien technology. Jake's ships arrived at the main vegan trading station and requested permission to demonstrate their cargo handling capabilities. The vegan station master, a short green-skinned alien named Broker Jexenal, agreed to watch the demonstration, expecting to see primitive human cargo ships struggling with basic operations. Instead, he watched in amazement as human ships used gravitational manipulation to move entire asteroids like they were small packages. Cargo that should have taken days to process was handled in minutes. The human ships could create temporary storage space by folding space itself, allowing them to carry impossible amounts of material. "We would like to renegotiate our trading agreements," Roker Jacksonville said after the demonstration. His tone was much more respectful than it had been an hour earlier. Similar demonstrations were taking place across the galaxy. On military worlds, human ships showed defensive capabilities that could protect entire star systems from attack. On agricultural worlds, they demonstrated terraforming technology that could turn dead planets into gardens in a matter of hours. Dr. Helen Turner was releasing carefully selected pieces of human technology to the galaxy. She started with medical advances that could cure diseases that had plagued alien species for centuries. Then came energy technology that could power entire worlds without pollution or resource depletion. Each release came with a clear message. Earth possessed advanced solutions to problems that the galaxy had been struggling with for millennia. They were willing to share this technology, but only with species that treated humans with proper respect. The Galactic Council called an emergency session to address the human situation. Representatives from every major species attended, either in person or through quantum communication links. The great chamber had never been so full. Claire Mitchell entered the chamber to find hundreds of alien eyes staring at her. These were beings who had barely acknowledged her existence just days ago. Now they hung on her every word. "The Council recognizes Ambassador Mitchell of Earth," announced High Counselor Moore DEK. Claire stood and looked around the chamber. "Honored counselors, you have called this session to discuss Earth's military capabilities. I am here to answer your questions, but first I have a statement to make." She paused, letting the tension build. For 50 years, Earth has been a loyal member of the galactic community. We have contributed to galactic defense, participated in trade networks, and shared our knowledge freely. In return, we have been treated as a minor species, barely worthy of consideration. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Many of the counselors looked uncomfortable. "We never complained about unfair trade deals," Claire continued. "We never protested when our diplomats were ignored or insulted. We accepted our position as a small, weak species because we believed that patience and goodwill would eventually lead to better relations." She gestured to the great screen that showed images from the recent battle. "What you saw at Earth was not an act of aggression. It was an act of self-defense. We revealed our true capabilities only because we were forced to do so. We would have preferred to continue as we were, but the Zeridian ultimatum made that impossible." Counselor Zephyron raised his hand. "Ambassador, if your species possessed such advanced technology, why did you hide it? Why allow us to believe you were weak?" Claire smiled. "Because we hoped that our restraint would be seen as wisdom, not weakness. We believed that showing mercy in victory and patience in defeat would demonstrate our worthiness as galactic citizens. We were wrong." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some counselors demanded that Earth be punished for their deception. Others argued that Earth had done nothing wrong. A few suggested that the entire galactic power structure needed to be reconsidered. High Counselor Mordick called for order. "Ambassador Mitchell, what does Earth want from the Council?" "Nothing," Claire replied simply. "We do not seek territory, tribute, or political power. We want only what we have always wanted, to be treated as equals in the galactic community." Commander Amy Rodriguez was busy establishing new training programs for alien military officers. The Galactic Peacekeeping Academy was being founded on a neutral world, with the goal of teaching alien commanders how to work with human technology and tactics. The first class of students included officers from species that had been Earth's enemies just weeks before. They were learning that human military doctrine was unlike anything they had ever encountered. The first principle of human warfare, Amy told her students, is that true strength comes from knowing when not to use your power. We could have destroyed the Zeridian fleet, but we chose to capture it intact. This demonstrated our superiority while avoiding unnecessary death. The alien officers were struggling to understand this concept. In their experience, warfare was about showing dominance through destruction. The idea of showing restraint while demonstrating overwhelming power was foreign to them. Captain Steve Johnson was training alien pilots to work with human fighters. His students were amazed by the capabilities of human technology, but they were even more impressed by the discipline required to use it responsibly. "Your ships can phase through solid matter," said one alien pilot. "Why do you not use this ability?" "To attack enemy ships from the inside?" Steve smiled. "Because that would be too easy. The goal is not to win quickly, but to win in a way that prevents future conflicts. If we simply destroy our enemies, their friends will seek revenge. If we defeat them while showing mercy, they become our allies." The galaxy was slowly adapting to the new reality. Trade agreement. 6 months had passed since the day Earth revealed its true military power to the galaxy. The universe had changed completely. Trade routes had been reorganized, military alliances had been rewritten, and the entire structure of galactic civilization had shifted to accommodate a new reality. Admiral Lisa Carter stood in her new office at the headquarters of the Human Defense Corps. This was the first time in galactic history that Earth operated a military organization openly. For 50 years, human military operations had been hidden behind fake research stations and disguised cargo ships. Now the galaxy knew exactly what Earth was capable of, and they respected it. Through her window, Lisa could see ships from dozens of different species docked at the station. These were not prisoners or enemies, but allies and partners who had come to learn from human military technology. The species that had once dismissed humans as primitive were now eager to work with them. Captain Jake Morrison walked into Lisa's office, carrying a datapad with reports from across the galaxy. He had been promoted to Admiral after the successful demonstration of human power, but he still preferred to be called Captain. "The latest reports from the demonstration missions," Jake said, handing her the pad. "Every world we have visited has requested formal military cooperation agreements. Even the Alterian High Command wants to discuss joint training exercises." Lisa smiled as she read the reports. The Alterians had been one of the most arrogant species in the galaxy, treating humans like barely civilized barbarians. Now they were asking for help with their defense systems. "What about the Zeridians?" Lisa asked. "Emperor Krexel has officially apologized for the attack on Earth," Jake replied. "He is offering full war reparations and requesting a formal alliance treaty. He says that any species capable of defeating his fleet so decisively would be a valuable friend and a terrible enemy." The transformation of the Zeridian Empire had been remarkable to watch. After their defeat, they had expected Earth to demand tribute, territory, or some form of revenge. Instead, humans had returned their entire captured fleet without asking for anything in return. This act of mercy had impressed the Zeridians more than any show of force could have. Commander Amy Rodriguez entered the office at that moment. She had been traveling across the galaxy, establishing training centers where alien military officers could learn to work with human technology and tactics. "The Academy program is exceeding all expectations," Amy reported. "We have a waiting list of over 10,000 officers from 200 different species. Everyone wants to learn human military doctrine." A galactic peacekeeping academy had become the most prestigious military school in known space. Officers who graduated from human training programs were considered the elite of their respective forces. The curriculum focused not just on advanced technology, but on the philosophy behind its use. Dr. Nathan Rooks had been appointed as Earth's new ambassador to the Galactic Council. His years of studying alien psychology had prepared him well for the delicate task of managing Earth's new status in galactic affairs. Nathan was currently dealing with requests from over 50 species who wanted to establish formal research partnerships. With Earth, they were particularly interested in human medical technology, which seemed to be centuries ahead of anything else in the galaxy. "We are receiving requests for technology, sharing at a rate of about 20 per day," Nathan told Lisa. "Everyone wants access to our medical advances, our energy systems, and our terraforming capabilities." Earth's policy was to share beneficial technology freely, but only with species that demonstrated peaceful intentions. Worlds that used human medical technology to save lives received more advanced systems. Planets that tried to weaponize human energy technology found their access revoked immediately. Captain Steve Johnson had become the commander of the new Joint Galactic Defense Force. This was an organization that included ships and crews from dozens of different species, all working under human leadership and using human tactical doctrines. Steve's command ship, the Unity, was a marvel of engineering that combined the best technology from every member species. But the human contributions were clearly the most advanced. The ship could travel between star systems instantly, defend entire planets from attack, and provide humanitarian aid on a scale that had never been possible before. The first major test of the Joint Defense Force came when a rogue asteroid threatened to destroy the colony world of New Haven. The planet's own defense systems were not powerful enough to deflect such a massive object, and evacuation would have been impossible in the time available. Steve's fleet arrived at New Haven just 6 hours before the asteroid would have struck the planet. Using human gravitational manipulation technology, they were able to gently redirect the asteroid into a stable orbit around the planet, where it could be mined for valuable resources. The successful mission was broadcast across the galaxy, showing every world what the new Galactic Defense Force could accomplish. It was no longer just about preventing wars between species. Now they could protect planets from natural disasters, provide emergency aid during crisis, and maintain peace on a scale that had never been possible before. Dr. Helen Turner had established research stations throughout the galaxy where human and alien scientists worked together on problems that affected everyone. Her first major project was developing a cure for the Red Plague, a disease that had been killing millions of beings across multiple species for over a century. Using human medical technology combined with alien biological knowledge, Helen's team developed a cure in just 3 months. The treatment was distributed freely to every affected world, saving countless lives and demonstrating Earth's commitment to using their advanced technology for the benefit of all galactic citizens. The success of the Red Plague cure led to dozens of other joint research projects. Human scientists worked with alien experts to solve problems ranging from food shortages to environmental disasters. Each successful project strengthened the bonds between Earth and the rest of the galaxy. Ambassador Claire Mitchell had returned to Earth to help establish the new diplomatic protocols that would govern human relations with other species. The old system, where Earth was treated as a minor player, had been completely abandoned. Now human approval was sought for every major galactic decision. Claire was working on a new galactic charter that would guarantee equal treatment for all species, regardless of their military power or technological advancement. The charter was based on principles that humans had learned during their years of being treated as inferiors. "We know what it feels like to be dismissed and ignored," Claire explained to the drafting committee. "We will not allow that to happen to any other species, no matter how small or seemingly weak they might be." The new charter was revolutionary in galactic terms. For the first time, political power would not be based solely on military strength or economic influence. Smaller species would have meaningful representation, and their rights would be protected. By the combined military might of the galactic community, President William Hayes addressed the people of Earth on the 6-month anniversary of the revelation. The speech was broadcast not just to Earth, but to every world in the galaxy that wanted to receive it. 6 months ago, we were forced to reveal our true capabilities to the galaxy, the president said. We did not want to do this. We would have preferred to continue living quietly, developing our technology and culture in peace. But when we were threatened with destruction, we had no choice but to show the universe who we really are. He looked directly into the camera, knowing that his words were being heard by billions of beings across hundreds of worlds. We are not conquerors. We are not empire builders. We do not seek to rule over other species or force our will upon them. We seek only to live in peace and to help others do the same. Our strength exists not to dominate, but to protect. Our technology advances not to give us advantage over others, but to solve problems that affect us all. The president's speech was met with approval from across the galaxy. Opinion polls showed that most alien species now viewed Earth favorably, seeing humans as protectors rather than threats. But perhaps the most important change was in how humans saw themselves. For 50 years, they had lived with the knowledge that they were hiding their true capabilities. They had watched other species treat them with contempt, knowing that they could have responded with overwhelming force at any time. Now they could be proud of who they were. Earth's children could grow up knowing that their planet was respected throughout the galaxy. Human explorers could travel to alien worlds as equals, not as supplicants begging for acceptance. The galaxy had been warned that Earth was holding back. The warnings had come from human diplomats who tried to explain that their peaceful nature should not be mistaken for weakness. They had come from human scientists who hinted at technologies that other species could not imagine. They had come from human military officers who spoke carefully about capabilities that had never been fully tested.